Be prepared for something new. Everyone is different. So are you. Stay straight. No masquerades. Do things that you'll remember. You can push too far, but stay fair. Stay on track. Give it your all. Get to the bottom of things. Decide what's right. Don't believe in what the others do. Find it out for yourself. Be close to it all. Bring your heart along. Follow your goals. Reach for the stars. Turn the weekend into the loudest party of your life. Are you prepared?
Are you ready to hear the row? Welcome to the Hockenheim Ring. We're here for the final in the DTM 2017. It's all about who is going to win the championship. Fact is, 4 Audis are in the top 4, and one of them is René Rast. You're second in the championship leadings at the moment. You're 21 points behind Mattias Ekström. However, today in qualifying, you're starting in P4, and Eki is only in P10. So I guess today you're going to be able to close the gap?
Hopefully, that's the ultimate goal, obviously, to close the gap to Mattias. Still from P10, there is a lot of positions to gain, and it's not an easy position where he is in right now. It's a bit easier for me, but still, I have to finish and I have to score some important points.
Of course, you're a DTM rookie. I guess it would be a dream come true for a rookie to, for the first time, win the DTM.
Yeah, I mean, this is still quite far away for me, to be honest. I haven't thought about it too much, to be honest. We just try to maximize everything, and in the end, we'll see where we end up.
All right, René, best of luck for the race. Thank you very much. And before we get racing here, let's have a look back at Spielberg.
They were dominant at the Red Bull Ring. Audi locked out all 6 places on the podium. He was on the top step for the first time this season, Mattias Ekström. The Swede also scored a 5th place and remains the hunted in the championship.
I'm pretty happy, and I must say the general feeling from my weekend was pretty good. I didn't make many mistakes, so I'm quite happy.
One who could not be happy after his home race was Auer. After 8th place on Saturday, the Mercedes driver retired following a collision 1 day later. That probably blew his dream of winning the title.
Sometimes sport is good, sometimes you have a bad day. This is how it is, so keep on working.
Auer's collision resulted into a safety car intervention. At the restart, defending champion Marco Wittmann was the big loser with his BMW. He dropped back from 4th place, finishing only 6th. 1 day before, he'd finished 5th, but probably lost his chances of defending the title.
It's pretty obvious who will become champion, any of the Audis for sure. So, I mean, we still fight as long as it is possible, but I think it will be super hard for us.
Also, no luck for Jamie Green. He was first on the grid for both races, but he had to give away the success on Saturday, while a gearbox problem cost him the win on Sunday. Instead of being first, he's now 3rd in the championship. After Green's technical problem, fellow Audi driver René Rast scored his 3rd DTM race win on Sunday. That makes the rookie driver the main rival for Ekström at Hockenheim. Let the hunt commence.
With me now is Formula One superstar Sebastian Vettel. It's wonderful to have you here at the Hockenheim Ring. You live just nearby, so it's always good to see you. A lot has changed in the DTM. Did you manage to follow the season a little bit?
Yeah, I did, in the live feed. Yeah, no matter where we were around the world, so that's quite nice to be able to follow and see the races live. So, yeah, really enjoy the races. Obviously, it's very tight racing. Today, again, in qualifying, three tenths separating 12 cars. So really competitive, and a lot of familiar faces around, so it's nice to see them and catch up.
And this morning we saw you chatting away with Mattias Ekström. Is he the one you're crossing your fingers for, perhaps?
There are a couple of guys. I mean, a couple of guys I know for a long time now, but yeah, Mattias obviously has been around a long time, and I think looks like things are coming together for him this year. So fingers crossed. But I'm sure that he knows how to do it, and yeah, I think the advantage he has should be able to carry it into tomorrow and then wrap it up.
All right, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest in Hockenheim, and back to you.
Thank you very much, Verena. Great to see Sebastian on track then. Here's the grid for race number 1 this weekend. Timo Glock going from P1. Alongside then is Maxime Martin. Then we find Jamie Green and René Rast on the second row of the grid. Then we find Eduardo Mortara and Robert Wickens. Then we find Mike Rockenfeller and Marco Wittmann, P8 for Marco Wittmann, of course, the defending champion. Nico Muller is P9. Mattias Ekström is P10. Then we find Gary Paffett and Bruno Spengler. It's Paul de Resta and Augusto Farfus going from P13 and P14. Lucas Auer, a lowly P15 start for him with Tom Blomqvist alongside. And at the back of the grid, we find Maro Engel and Loic Duval. So Sebastian Vettel then, as you can see in conversation there with Herman Tomczyk, down there on track. And, of course, his brother, Fabian, racing in the Audi Sport TT Cup, which is one of the support categories here for this DTM race weekend. Gary Paffett then going from P11 on the grid. It really is quite warm here at Hockenheim. An awful lot of people, a lot of spectators are here. And there is the man, Mattias Ekström then, P1 in the Drivers' Championship at the moment. The head of BMW Motorsport is Jens Marquardt with Verena right now.
He certainly is. Since Spielberg, you've improved a lot. It's been 3 weeks, and now you've got Timo Glock in pole, and you've got Maxime Martin on P2. However, after today's qualifying, I guess the chances of Marco Wittmann winning the DTM this year has decreased. So I guess now you're just hoping to maybe get another victory or to end the season in a high?
Well, for sure. And also Marco. I mean, we're going to push maximum. Having 1 and 2 here is obviously a good starting point, and Marco still, I think, has a good chance, but it's all about now pushing, doing nothing wrong. Yeah, strategy, tire wear, race management. Yeah, going to be a tough afternoon on Saturday here in front of a magnificent crowd with super weather in my home country. So, yeah, looking forward to that, and I hope it's going to be an enjoyable race also for the fans, and yeah, we'll see.
I'm sure it will be. Thank you very much, Jens Marquardt. Best of luck, and back to you.
Thanks very much, Verena. So Jens Marquardt then full of sunshine this afternoon and full of aspirations and hopes, of course, for Marco Wittmann. As we look at Mike Rockenfeller, who's starting 1 place ahead of Marco Wittmann. Mike Rockenfeller will be going from P7 on the grid. Alongside me, top racing driver Alex Toril. The weather conditions absolutely superb for a DTM race this afternoon.
Yes, as you were saying before, warm temperatures. This will also make the drivers struggle a little bit more, but amazing crowd, like Jens Marquardt was saying, amazing weather, blue skies, not a single cloud. So I'm really looking forward for the race today.
More from Alex during the course of the race, of course, bringing us the insider driver's eye view as we look at Robert Wickens now, who's placing his crash helmet on and getting ready to contest this DTM race on the final weekend of DTM for 2017. The Drivers' Championship comes to the final round, which, of course, from a dramatic point of view, is what we love. Eduardo Mortara, a very good qualifying from Eduardo Mortara. He goes from B5 on the grid in his AMG C63 DTM. So well done to Eduardo Mortara. He was complaining during qualifying of potentially being blocked by Jamie Green, but in any event, Eduardo Mortara has managed to get that P5 position. We continue our quest down the grid, as we can see there, Klaus Ludwig and also Bernd Schneider in conversation there. 5-time and 3-time DTM champions. And there, just an example of what Jens Marquardt was saying. A fantastic crowd here as we look at the driver that is P2 in the Drivers' Championship. René Rast then. He is doing the chasing, and of course he starts the race ahead of his arch rival in the championship, Mattias Ekström. Rast goes from P4, Ekström from P10. .574. the Hockenheim ring. Timo Glock, pole position, Maxime Martin, an all BMW front row. It's an all Audi second row with Jamie Green and René Rast, and an all Mercedes-Benz third row with Eduardo Mortara and Robert Wickens. The rest of the order, as you can see in graphics on screen as we take this wonderful helicopter shot of this phenomenal circuit, which of course plays host to the opening round of DTM and plays host to the grand season finale as well. So it's not only motor racing champions, but Olympic champions in gymnastics that we have down on track as well. The grid is littered with celebrities. And as you can see, conversations going on there in what is incredible weather for this weekend's racing. The weather prediction's actually very good for tomorrow as well as for today. Jamie Green then, the British star, who goes from P3 on the grid, and of course he's P3 in the Drivers' Championship as well. Mattias Ekström on 172, and it's René Rast on 151. Dieter Gas then, head of Audi DTM, and he is with Verena now.
Dieter Gas, you've got 4 Audis leading the championship, and even though the qualifying didn't go as brilliantly as you probably hoped or expected, I guess the question now is, which of the 4 Audis is going to win the championship this weekend?
I don't care, as long as it's one of them. Yeah, I mean, that's the situation. We always try to give our drivers a fair chance to win as much as they can. And the priority is, for me, clearly that one of the Audi drivers does it, and then I really don't care who is the man.
All right, but I guess it's still going to be a very exciting race.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you need to be realistic. So far, we haven't won anything. The championships are still up for grabs. You need to get around the first corner, you need to do a race and still score points. And you shall never feel too safe about anything. Conditions is good, but still we have to perform.
Not over till the fat lady sings. All right, thank you so much, Dieter Gas, and back to you.
Thank you very much, Verena. So Dieter Gas then, not prepared to commit to anything. Mr. Gerhard Berger on the right-hand side of your picture there, the new head of the ITR that runs the DTM, of course. Mattias Ekström then on 172 points. René Rast on 151. Jamie Green on 138. With then Mike Rockenfeller, Marco Wittmann and Lucas Auer rounding out the top 6 in the Drivers' Championship at the moment. So, as they say, Mario Thiessen is in conversation with Sebastian Vettel. Let's hear what Uli Fritz from Mercedes-Benz has to say.
So Uli Fritz is with me now. Uli, you've got P5 and P6, but your best man, Auer, is in P15. So I guess the dream of the title has kind of vanished in thin air. But what is your goal for this weekend?
I think the dream always continues to live on until it's really over, and yeah, we'll do the most out of it and try to push as much as we can. But yeah, as you said, I mean, it's not ideal to be as far back as Luki is, but I think, yeah, I mean, we'll try to get a little bit on a few positions up with Edo and Robert, and then we'll see how the race develops.
Well, best of luck, Uli Fritz. Thank you so much. And now back to you guys.
Thanks
Let's get ready to get racing.
Thank you, Verena. Yes, let's get ready to go racing. And the man that puts himself in a perfect position there is Timo Glock, going from P1 as we look at the number 5 car, which of course is driven by Mattias Ekström, as DC David Coulthard here as well. And wandering down the paddock as we speak. And look at the crowd here at the Hockenheim ring to enjoy this race weekend and the first DTM race as the grid girls make their way off the circuit now, having done their job with great aplomb. We are just about ready to go racing. Uli Fritz then, head of Mercedes-Benz DTM, makes his way off the grid. The crowd, you can almost sense the anticipation as Mattias Ekström is wished well from his Team Abt Sportsline engineer just ahead of the start of the race. The BWT flags are flying, and the sense of excitement heightens with every second as we get towards the lights going green. Hockenheim then, DTM 2017 finale. Dieter Gas then making his way off the grid, was unprepared to commit to which driver Audi were prepared to back in the fight for the championship, and that is the all-new trophy that is up for grabs. As the engine note rises, the cars get away on their formation lap. What a phenomenal sight it is. What a phenomenal sound it is as the cars scream either side of that wonderful trophy that merely one driver can pick up at the end of the 2017 season. So the cars snake their way through. At this point, Alex, in a race, just ahead of the race starting, every driver going through a mental checklist, I assume, as we're on board with Timo Glock now as they're preparing for the race start.
Yeah, exactly. This is a high-tension moment. You are just thinking on warming up good your tires, don't take any curb, that you don't provoke a puncture, thinking on your brake bars, thinking on when you go into the grid, your clutch, trying to mentalize a little bit, as you were saying. Imagine how could be that first corner with the whole pack driving into turn number 1. So this is what you try to do, and of course the tension rises, you get a little bit more nervous, your adrenaline is pumping all over the body. But to be honest, being a racing driver and be able to experience this is an amazing feeling, and I love it every time I have to do it.
Into the garages we go. First of all, for Audi Sport, and there is Dieter Gas, his charger then, Mattias Ekström, P10 on the grid, number 1 at the moment in the Drivers' Championship. Will it be that way at the end of this race? Timo Glock we're on board with once again. He is the pole sitter for BMW, and it's into the BMW garage right now with Jens Marquardt, centre picture then. All smiles ahead of the start of race number 1 here at Hockenheim this weekend. So the cars continue to snake their way through the stadium section of this circuit now, approaching the grid. The cars will all line up in their grid box to millimetric perfection because the drivers guided in by their race engineers. There you can see that in 2014 the lap record was set. It's a 1:32.532 from one Mr. Martin Tomczyk, who sits alongside in commentary in just another studio down the corridor from here. There is Uli Fritz from Mercedes-Benz, centre picture, and Dr. Mario Thiessen and Sebastian Vettel then also awaiting the start of the race. Timo Glock will be guided into his grid box now.
One more grid position.
And we just hear the engineers telling the drivers, drive, and stop. That they're, like you were saying, millimetric on the line.
So there we have it then. Final words of wisdom for Timo Glock.
Idle on preload.
Yeah.
Just have to say this car has a handbrake, so they can preload just before the start when we see Maro Engel and Loic Duval getting their position in the back of the grid.
Here comes the green flag from the marshal at the rear. Stand by because the start sequence is about to be unleashed for the second from last race of the season 2017. The engine note rises. Let's go racing. Good start from Timo Glock. Maxime Martin trying to cover Jamie Green. Rennie Rast also trying to get on the inside of the Mercedes-Benz, just fails to do so as they all make their way through turn number 1, with no one having been turned around. So heading towards turn number 2, Timo Glock has escaped up the road like a scolded rat. Jamie Green is P2. There's a challenge going on for P3 from Eduardo Mortara on Maxime Martin, and Rennie Rast also trying to make good and move past Eduardo Mortara. So this long run around the Parabolica as Lucas Auer and Augusto Farfus are side by side. This is the real pinch point then, the heavy braking section as they go into this hairpin. Can all the cars make their way through with no damage at all? Brilliant, they all do. So Glock leads from Jamie Green, from Maxime Martin, Eduardo Mortara, Rennie Rast. Rast is being chased down by Robert Wickens in the Mercedes-Benz. Then we find Mike Rockenfeller, Marco Wittmann and Nico Müller. So Timo Glock leading the race, but Jamie Green up into P2. Mattias Ekström making some adjustments there to the brake bias. So it's BMW, Audi, BMW, Mercedes-Benz. We're about to put one completed lap into the book. And there is Mattias Ekström, who lost out on a place to Gary Paffett on this opening lap, so going backwards rather than forwards, which is not the way that he wishes to go in this race. Already coming in is Maro Engel. So, of course, pit stop's absolutely free during the course of the race. Whenever you want to come in, you can. And Maro Engel chooses to pit really early on. Timo Glock leads from Jamie Green, P2, Maxime Martin, P3, Eduardo Mortara, P4. Alex, one of the quietest opening laps I think I've seen in DTM in terms of absolutely clean.
Yeah, you can feel maybe the tension between the drivers for this championship. Everyone trying to respect themselves quite a lot and keeping the positions. Good start from Lucas Auer when we see the BMW of Maxime Martin touching a little bit on the boot, all the cars touching a little bit on the ground. Like you're saying, it's pretty clean start, no big damages. Lucas Auer improving 2 positions, Mattias Ekström losing 1, and Timo Glock did an amazing start. Clean, he got away, and leading now by 1.4 seconds ahead of Jamie Green.
Which is a remarkable margin that he's created since the start of the race. So there is our race leader, Timo Glock, then breaking away from Jamie Green, Maxime Martin, Eduardo Mortara, René Rast and Robert Wickens. It's René Rast that we're on board with now, who of course is in P5 at the moment and therefore banking really, really important points. So René Rast around on that banked corner then, takes the curve. You can feel the rumble strips almost through your television as the cars all snake their way through this, the opening race of the 2 for the final round of DTM for 2017. Maxime Martin then is currently P3, but we're on board with Mattias Ekström, chasing down that Gary Paffett Mercedes-Benz, which is ahead of him. So some running very, very wide indeed. So we're on board with Mattias Ekström once again. Heavy, heavy braking. The Mercedes-Benz ahead of him then. Make their way onto the Parabolica now. And this fantastic shot then as René Rast is trying to reel in Eduardo Mortara with DRS available, of course. So Timo Glock, and I'm really concerned that, you know, the cars are really, as they are approaching that hairpin, really smoking, aren't they, some of them?
Yeah, but this is mainly, you see it's many, some of the car, this is the floor of the car touching on the ground.
Rubbing on the tarmac.
Yeah, rubbing on the tarmac, so...
This is Marco Wittmann and Nico Müller. This the argument going on for P8. It's Nico Müller that's currently P8. Gary Paffett, of course, would like to buy into that battle as well, and he's in a brilliant position because he'll allow these two to fight ahead of him and then try and take advantage. Well, Gary Paffett already on a move to try and unsettle Marco Wittmann, which allows Nico Müller to escape up the road a little bit. We're on board with the British star, Gary Paffett, then, as he turns around this banked turn. Here is the start then. Maxime Martin seemed to bog down a little bit, and Jamie Green was able to get a slingshot and carry more momentum here through turn number 1 and make sure he puts his car into P2. So a very good start from Jamie Green, notwithstanding a supreme start also from our pole sitter, Timo Glock, who just got at the preload. He got everything exactly right, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. He did a blistering start, just pull out of the box. We see the Maxime Martin that lost a little bit of the momentum there. Jamie Green getting past. Now we see it in the cockpit of Marco Wittmann, going all around the outside in the back of Hockenheim. Now we see it on Gary Paffett's car, all around the outside in corner number 2. Having a little bit side-by-side contact with, I think it's Mattias Ekström.
It was at that point that he got past
Marco Wittmann in the front, going a little bit wide, and we see the loft tap of Marco Wittmann into Mike Rockenfeller. In going back to the point you were saying before, the car with that smoke.
Yes.
My opinion, this has to do because the drivers are going out with quite low pressures because of the long stint of the race. So that's why in qualifying we don't see this, because they go out with the optimum tire pressure. Now with low pressure, cars start to touch. When we see Bruno Spengler.
Lucas Auer and Bruno Spengler, and Lucas Auer has got ahead of the BMW driver, hasn't he? Lucas Auer now finds himself up into P12. So the points are top 10. P1 is Glock, P2 Jamie Green, and this is how Lucas Auer did it then, up the inside of, and he really meant that, didn't he? Up the inside of Bruno Spengler. That came from quite a long way back, to be fair. Here we can see it from a different angle. And Bruno was absolutely defenseless there, wasn't he? Not able to do anything. For my money, Jamie Green is getting closer now to Timo Glock. So, just to go through the top 10 for you once again. Glock, Green, Martin, Dennis Mortara, Rast, Wickens, Rockenfeller, Müller, Wittmann, Paffett, rounding out the top 10. So Rast on the back of Eduardo Mortara then. This is for P4, of course. Eduardo Mortara currently P4. Rennie Rast is P5. Parabolica once again then. DRS with the flap open. So Glock through on the hairpin. Here is the championship prediction as it sits at the moment. Mattias Ekström would be on 172 and Rennie Rast would close the gap to 11 points between himself and Mattias Ekström. That is, if everything stays the way it is currently.
Yeah, for sure. This is like always. Everything can happen. We saw races this year in the DTM where the last one on the grid won the race at the end of the Checkered flat. So remember here the first race, it was a total chaos, up and down, left and right, cars over. So I think everything is still really wide open. I mean, Mattias Ekström is now recovering a little bit. Let's see if he can maybe pass Gary Paffett, and also the pit stop will play a big role. We've seen
it will.
A lot of...
As will the strategy, if I can interrupt you, and I'm sorry for doing that, because it's when the team bring you in, isn't it? You know, that can play a part as well, Alex.
Exactly. It's not only when, it's also, like I was saying, with the news, this new pit stop situation where two mechanics are only per side of the car. It's really easy to make a mistake. We saw many teams make a mistake all around the season, from 7 seconds pit stop to 8.5, 9, 10 seconds pit stop long. So,
and equally, it's when someone is brought in, bearing in mind when they return from the pit stop, they're going to be on cold tyres because tyre warmers are not allowed. As Marco Wittmann and Gary Paffett battle, and Paffett gets ahead. And also,
Timo Glock is getting attacked from Jamie Green.
I said he'd close the gap. Well, now he's right alongside and he'll have the inside for the next turn. Jamie Green then goes through on Timo Glock. No, he doesn't, because sideways back. This is brilliant, side by side, P1 and P2. Ooh. And Glock over the rumble strips. He's back on, collecting a piece of Jamie Green's aero as he comes back on. Well, the fight has started at the front. So Jamie Green under investigation for forcing another driver to leave the track. Timo Glock did make it back on and remains in front.
And of course, this is playing in the hands of Maxime Martin, which is joining now the fight for the first step of the podium.
I'll get back to the point I was making with regards to cold tyres, because tyre warmers not allowed. So therefore, when a car comes in from its pit stop, it becomes vulnerable for the first couple of laps, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So all these small things, small details, variability can change a race. Everything can change after 20 minutes. We can be in a total different race, and this is what makes DTM so exciting this year. When we see Jamie Green now losing some carbon parts because of the low downforce, now going on the inside, braking it to stop the car to deny the switch back to Timo Glock. He does it perfectly. So really good move from Jamie Green.
But he has lost some of those aeroflicks on the front of his car, I'm sure of that, because there's been contact, and now all of a sudden Timo Glock has got Maxime Martin for company, and Eduardo Mortara and Rennie Rast have all moved up as well as they have been fighting. So Jamie Green leading the race now, and this is how he did it. He really switched from outside to inside.
I think it's the lap before. Yeah, this is the movement in the lap before where Timo got the switch back.
You're right.
So now we go into the Mercedes arena. Now we see this incident. Now it's under investigation for Jamie Green forcing Timo Glock out of the racetrack.
Well, sadly, let's see it from here. So Timo Glock already wobbling a bit. Jamie Green just forcing him, squeezing him a little bit. Glock, though, managed to get back out and ahead of him, but not for long.
So talking about the incident about the investigation, is just a black and white flag for Jamie Green, so he got a warning. But now you see the car with the low downforce, how much is jumping in the front.
Yes.
You get the toe.
Oh, Maxime Martin nearly into the back of Timo Glock.
Yeah, Wolfgang Ulrich.
Yes.
Happy guy.
And look, Jamie Green has opened up a gap of 1.1 seconds already. I mean, the overtake has only just happened and he's up the road. Here's Rennie Rast, who we go on board with now. Will he dive to the inside of Eduardo Mortara? No, because Eduardo Mortara dives to the inside of Maxime Martin.
May I remember, maybe wrong, that happened similar at the beginning of the season. Timo Glock was leading with a little bit of a gap, and then they chased him down. Then he came P2 in the really first race of the season.
Oh, your memory is better than mine. But now we know that...
it's a little bit of déjà vu.
Yeah, Edo Mortara has got past Maxime Martin.
The pressures are low, 0.1 down.
So listening to the team radio of Timo Glock talking about tyre pressures. So on board with René Rast now, who is around the banked section of this second from last turn, trying to chase down Maxime Martin. Eduardo Mortara, having got past Martin, finds himself in P3. And here is what a move this was from Eduardo Mortara. He very nearly got two at the same time, and René Rast also trying to take advantage of it at the same time. Great to see it from being on board the René Rast car. A great shot that was. In comes Mattias Ekström. So the AB team go to work on the Mattias Ekström car. This needs to be a very, very good stop, doesn't it? Precise, precision. 7.6 seconds.
Position 11, remember brake balance, gap to engage at pit lap 1, 3.5.
So other than Maro Engel, I think Ekström is the only other driver that has been in. So Ekström on his way out now of the pit lane. Do not cross the white line. You would pick up a penalty for that. So he is...
Oh, locking the tires.
They're cold, aren't they? I can, you know, we're talking about our memories. I can remember him coming out of the pit lane at Zandvoort and then skating all the way through the gravel, managing to get it back out onto the grass and then eventually back out onto the tarmac, but that really did cost him some time. So then there is Jamie Green, our race leader, the British driver in car number 53, then around the bank section of the stadium section here at the Hockenheim ring. It's Green from Glock, Mortara, Martin, Rast, Wickens, Rockenfeller, Muller, Paffett and Marco Wittmann rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, we have Jamie Green is the only racing driver which is lapping in 1:33 at the moment. We see Timo Glock 1:34.0, 1:34.3 from Mortara. So blistering pace of the Audi driver. And it's only it's dry because usually Jamie Green is the king of the wet.
Yeah, you're right. So Maro Engel then. Ahead of him is Mattias Ekström, who has returned from going in for his mandatory pit stop. There is our race leader, Jamie Green, who now has got a margin of over 3 seconds on Timo Glock in P2, and they're fairly queuing up a little bit behind Timo Glock. You've got Eduardo Mortara, Maxime Martin, René Rast, Robert Wickens, and Mike Rockenfeller ahead of Nico Muller before we see Gary Paffett in P9, Marco Wittmann in P10, of course, the current DTM champion. However, that's most likely to change this weekend. In fact, inevitably it will change this weekend. So Maro Engel, he's really reeling in Mattias Ekström here. So Maro Engel on the hairpin, recently married Maro Engel. Many congratulations.
Having lunch, almost having lunch with his actual wife, Stephanie.
Almost.
Almost, yeah.
You mean you sat next to her and she didn't?
Yeah, we're sitting next to each other, so.
Whoa!
So
Mattias just squeezing Maro out on the outside there. A little bit of debris on the circuit there, as in now comes René Rast. Also in is Lucas Auer. So we put the clock on the René Rast car. Lucas Auer makes his way down the pit lane. And it's not a quick one for René Rast, 9 seconds. I think it was 7.2 for Mattias Ekström. So let's see where René Rast will come out relative to Mattias Ekström. He's going to be comfortably ahead. But of course, he is going to be on cold tyres. Lucas Auer then, a good time from the HWA team, just 7 seconds. As Lucas Auer makes his way out of the pit lane now. So both René Rast and Lucas Auer then going to be on cold tyres now. So Green still leading and not choosing to come in quite yet. Mattias Ekström, Maro Engel. Engel, of course, was the very first of those to play a curveball strategy, perhaps, by going in very early on for his mandatory pit stop, which means that the tyres have got a long stint to do because we have 38 minutes of the race remaining plus 1 lap. And Maxime Martin is confirmed fourth at the moment. Edo Mortara ahead of him. Robert Wickens, Mike Rockefeller, Nico Muller. There comes Gary Paffett in the number 2 car, ahead of Marco Wittmann and Bruno Spengler, the BMW driver who is currently in P10. But bear in mind that Rast, Auer and Ekström have all been in for their mandatory pit stops. In comes Timo Glock now, and Maxime Martin and Robert Wickens. 2 BMWs and a Mercedes-Benz, then making the pit lane a very, very busy place indeed. In dives Timo Glock. And the Timo Glock RMG team go to work on that car. We put the clock on it. 7.8. 6.3 for Maxime Martin, who gets released but ends up behind Timo Glock.
See René Rast coming into the main straight line.
So here is René Rast now. And those drivers ahead of René Rast are going to be vulnerable now because Glock, Martin and Robert Wickens all going to be on cold tyres, whereas René Rast has had another lap, if not 2, to bring those tyres up to temperature. Therefore, getting past Robert Wickens should not be difficult. Sure enough, he has to take to the curbs to do so, but he does it. And he's on his way around the Parabolica now, heading towards the hairpin, where 2 cars that are warming their tyres up are Timo Glock and Maxime Martin, the 2 BMW drivers. They make their way through the hairpin now. And further back then,
it's Lucas Auer getting past Mattias Ekström.
Lucas Auer and Mattias Ekström in that little battle there. Let's go on board with Mattias Ekström. So Lucas Auer, the Mercedes-Benz driver ahead of him, has also been in. So both Auer and Mattias Ekström both have been in. Maro Engel, who was at one point right on the back of the Mattias Ekström car. That's not the case now. This turn is slightly banked as Nico Muller is released from his pit box then. And makes his way down the pit lane now, the number 51 car, the Abt Audi of Nico Muller. So 35.5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining in this race. And there Nico Muller is back out onto track and just ahead of the Robert Wickens car. So there's Lucas Auer and Mattias Ekström. And Nico Muller will be vulnerable, of course, to Robert Wickens because Robert has got tyres that are warmed up, whereas Nico Muller's tyres are fresh on. They head towards the hairpin. Nico Muller trying to come back at Robert Wickens here. Robert will have to make the Mercedes as wide as possible. Into the hairpin, job done. We're on board with Lucas Auer. Still to come in for their stops then, Jamie Green, Eduardo Mortara, Mike Rockefeller, Gary Paffett, Marco Wittmann, Bruno Spengler, Paul de Resta.
Jamie Bock, this lap.
Well, there we have it. Jamie Green is coming in this lap. We heard that on completely live team radio. Unlike other motor racing series, our team radio is absolutely live. As the drivers hear it, so do you. So Mortara, another one that has chosen to come in, and Jamie Green's going to come in this time. In the meantime, Nico Muller and Lucas Auer there. Lucas Auer just getting a bit wayward with his Mercedes-Benz. And of course, he's got Mattias Ekström right behind. So an opportunity here perhaps for Nico Muller to do Mattias Ekström a favour, Alex?
Yeah, exactly. This is like always. The cars coming out on cold tires, they struggle on always, let's say with these warm conditions, half a lap to get the tires into temperature. And of course now he's dropping a little bit, but he will maybe slow down Lucas Auer a little bit, that Mattias Ekström can get back and maybe get past. Now we see Mattias, it was Timo Glock car just right behind Eduardo Mortara.
Up the inside goes Timo Glock on Eduardo Mortara. Meantime, as we watch Nico Müller now, he's on the inside, Lucas Auer to the outside. Now, if Lucas Auer can... Oh, Nico Müller squeezes Lucas to the outside. Now, this will give Lucas the inside for the next turn if he's prepared to stay absolutely committed to it. Indeed, he is. And he does go through, and it took some doing, truthfully. In comes Jamie Green now from the race lead. So the number 53 car of Rosberg go to work. 7.6 seconds, not the quickest.
Clear track.
But certainly not the slowest.
Not everybody pitted. Not everybody pitted yet.
So Jamie Green then comes back out onto track now, and Timo Glock is on his way down the start-finish straight. So in these ambient temperatures, Alex, you think half, three-quarters, a full lap before those tyres are up to temperature?
Yeah, I think it's a bit warm, so it makes easier than when you have a really cold track. So, like I said, I think three quarters of a lap, one lap, you need at least to get those tires into the right temperature. And for sure, this is always making a difference. So let's see Jamie Green, Sector 2, for example, compared to Timo Glock, who is now doing PB in Sector 1.
Mortara is slow. Mortara is slowing. Look at the...
different speed.
Yeah.
For sure, DRS open for Maxime Martin. Let's see the switchback. Will be there.
He's got it.
Yes, got it. But Eduardo has now the outside line. Maybe he can hold it for Mercedes. No, he will not be there. So Maxime Martin does the move into Eduardo Mortara. See now the replay on the braking zone. Edo had the inside line, but as usual, the common thing, this switch back.
And that was a perfect example of how to make it work, wasn't it?
Corner number 4, this hairpin, well-known hairpin at Hockenheim.
Well, we just saw in the background Mattias Ekström getting past Nico Müller as well. Quelle surprise. So there is Jamie Green, whose tyres should be up to temperature now. Timo Glock then, it's Maxime Martin and Edo Mortara. So ahead of Mattias Ekström now is the Mercedes-Benz of Lucas Auer. So he begins to chase down that Mercedes-Benz. It's well within his target sights. There's René Rast, who we are on board with right now.
See Ekström passing Nico Müller, or let's say Nico Müller opening the door for...
Well, he certainly didn't close it, did he?
Mattias Ekström. So didn't make the overtaking maneuver too difficult. We see now Marco Wittmann waving left and right to put Nico Müller under pressure, nervous. Nico keeps his line. Maro Engel coming just behind. So we have car number 5, Ekström, forcing another car driver to leave the track. Must be
Marco Wittmann then trying to warm up those tyres.
Must be the incident with or situation with Lucas Auer, as he was on the outside.
Don't know. Lucas Auer, there's Ekström, there's Nico Müller. So nominal leader at the moment is Mike Rockenfeller, but bear in mind, Rockenfeller, Paffett, Spengler, Blomqvist and Loic Duval all still to come in and do their mandatory pit stop. So Jamie Green then, effective leader. Ahead of Timo Glock, as you can see, into the second half of the race now, with but a few drivers that have not pitted yet. On board with René Rast then, Parabolica now, trying to reel in the Eduardo Mortara Mercedes-Benz ahead. So there is Glock, there's Maxime Martin before we see the pink Mercedes-Benz of Edo Mortara, and then René Rast, the man that we were on board with just a couple of moments ago, equally being chased down by Robert Wickens. So Glock and Green significantly up the road over the rest of the pack that are fighting. And here is Mike Rockenfeller. who continues to stay out, as does Gary Paffett. No, Paffett comes in. So Gary Paffett in now, and once again the HWA team will go to work in these well rehearsed and choreographed pit stops. So Gary Paffett then in the pit lane now, into his box, and the team go to work. We run the clock on the Gary Paffett Mercedes-Benz. Revs rise, 7.8. Again, not the slowest, not the fastest that we have seen, and he's on his way back out onto track once again. But of course, Gary Paffett will be on cold tyres now, but if anyone can nurse those cold tyres, famous last words as he locks up, is Gary Paffett, but he will be prey to Lucas Auer, who's got tyres that are up to temperature.
We have black and white flag for Mattias Ekström regarding the incident forcing another driver to leave the track. Was quite easy to see this was going to be the penalty.
So now Lucas Auer goes through on Gary Paffett, and Mattias Ekström is not going to find him quite so accommodating, let's say.
Yep.
And this will enable Auer to get up the road a little bit. So the DRS lap availability on your left-hand screen, or left-hand side of the screen, in yellow. Those that are vulnerable, Martin and Mortara with just 2 laps of DRS usage left. Ekström, funnily enough, with only 3. As Tom Christensen looks on. And Mattias Ekström on the inside of Gary Paffett. Gary Paffett chooses to defend, quite rightly. He's defending his race position. And Gary Paffett's tyres should be up to operating temperature by now. A lap completed since the pit stop, Alex.
Yes, and looking at the sector 2, like always, they're losing 2 seconds compared to normal pace. But sector 3 already looking sharp. So that means tires are again into temperature. So yeah, we see you need 3/4 of a lap, half a lap to warm up the tires with these temperatures on the racetrack.
Loic Duval then has Jamie Green right behind him. And there's the margin between Jamie Green and Timo Glock over laps 16, 17 and 18. So Loic Duval then, another one of the rookies into DTM for this season, joining the campaign for the full term, like René Rast. Loic Duval not challenging in the Drivers' Championship, whereas, of course, René Rast is. We saw in our championship prediction just a while ago that if it stays this way, then the gap will be narrowed between Rast and Mattias Ekström. So René Rast then could make history this weekend, becoming the first rookie ever to win the DTM Drivers' Championship. Still a long way to go yet then, and as Alex has indicated, can take nothing for granted in DTM. It changes by the millisecond. Only cars not to have stopped: Dorval, Blomqvist and Rockenfeller. So Edo Mortara has only 2 laps of DRS usage left to him, whereas René Rast has more. Bruno Spengler has been in and makes his way out right now. So Spengler back out on track. So just taking a look there as Bruno Spengler nurses the car around. Marco Wittmann chasing down the Audi of Nico Müller. We go on board with Marco Wittmann now. The challenge and chase is going to come probably if he can get close enough. Just look how the car bounces down the Parabolica and moves in right onto the back of the Nico Müller car. Tries to get on the inside, but isn't quite able to do so. Nico Müller making the car as wide as possible to prevent Marco Wittmann from coming through. So Marco will try now to go to the outside and then dive to the inside if Müller leaves the gap big enough, but Müller shuts the door. This is brilliant being on board with Marco Wittmann. We can see exactly how that battle is playing out. Of course, the more Nico can do to prevent Marco getting by is going to be of benefit to Mattias Ekström, Loic Duval, Tom Blomqvist, Mike Rockefeller. The 3 cars still to pit. 23 minutes plus 1 lap of the race remaining. It's DTM race 1 of 2 this weekend. The concluding races in the championship for 2017 being played out in front of a huge fan base here to enjoy the race action. DTM here at Hockenheim always does pack them in, and today is no exception. So Jamie Green then. There's Loic Duval. Bear in mind, Loic Duval is one of the back marking cars, if you like, but because hasn't been in for the mandatory pit stop yet. And René Rast with the 8 lit up in the rear quarter, which just indicates to the spectators how many laps of DRS usage left available to him. And this is when Mortara will be vulnerable, because Mortara with only 2 laps of DRS, whereas René Rast has got 6 more available to him than Eduardo Mortara, but needs to get the hurry up and get the job done, I would suggest.
Yeah, exactly. This is, like you said, 2 uses of DRS, so that means 6 times, because every driver can use it 3 times per lap.
Yes.
But once you use one, if you don't use the other 2, you lost them. So it's actually, like you say, you can use DRS 2 times till the end of the race. And of course, you have to be within a second, so Mortara at the moment is not within a second of Maxime Martin.
However, Rast is in the DRS window, isn't he?
Exactly. So he will definitely use this to get close to Eduardo Mortara. He maybe waits a little bit more, that it's a tiny bit closer, that he can maybe use it definitely for a move. No, 1.1 at the moment, so it's not completely now in the window. I think Mortara was a tiny bit faster in the last lap. Yeah, it was 3/10 faster than René Rast, so that's why he lost 3/10. But as you said, it's close to the window, and we still have 20.5 minutes to go, so plenty of time for René Rast to get past Eduardo Mortara. And Ekström at the moment sitting on P12, 2.1 seconds behind Puffett, and is lapping slower.
And Marco Wittmann still behind Nico Müller. So Mike Rockefeller, who's yet to come in, looks like some plastic attached to the front of the Mike Rockefeller car. Just take a look at that if you pick that up, Alex, to see whether that will affect the cooling of the car, and the car might overheat. Be interested to get your view on that. In the meantime, all over the Nico Müller car is Marco Wittmann trying to find a way past. Nico Müller has got 12 laps of DRS use, Marco Wittmann 15, but fat lot of use it's been to Marco Wittmann at the moment, because he's not able to find a way past the Audi of Nico Müller. So on board with Marco Wittmann then, fighting the car through the final 2 turns, and back on the throttle now for the start-finish straight. And not as close to Nico Müller as he has been through turn number 1. And we pick them up on the exit of turn 1, going into turn 2 now. So there's Ekström, there's Müller, and this is Jamie Green and Timo Glock in replay. Super slow-mos of the Audi and the BMW as well. And Mattias Ekström, who in the Red Bull liveried Audi. So Jamie Green then, the British driver. As at last, in comes Mike Rockefeller, which just leaves Tom Blomqvist and Loic Duval. Can you see that bit of plastic there?
Yeah, let's see if someone removes it.
Significant damage to the back of the car in terms of panel work as well.
I think not. I haven't seen anyone.
It's not there.
It's not there, then they'd remove it.
Yeah.
They've removed it. They are so fast, you cannot even see them. So Mike Rockefeller going out on the racetrack will go just a thing behind René Rast.
So yes, and ahead of Robert Wickens.
For sure everyone will overtake him.
Yeah.
Robert Wickens will pass him now. Some cold tires. So we will really have to push those tires to bring it up to temperature. Especially here on the braking point, hard braking point.
Whoa. And on the back of Maxime Martin, of course, Loic Duval, who still has not stopped, and Tom Blomqvist, the other driver that still has not stopped. René Rast through on the inside of Loic Duval. He's now, courtesy of, a bit closer to Eduardo Mortara.
Yeah, exactly. The situation is now a little bit hard because, of course, they are not fighting for a real position with Loic Duval, who still needs to do the stop. But definitely his tires are coming worse and worse towards the end of the stint. It's been pretty long. We are now on the 24th lap of the race. So maybe we see Loic Duval coming in now.
To be fair, Loic Duval...
Same situation for Tom Blomqvist, which is now leading the race.
Has Loic Duval been left out there to try and support and help his fellow brand mates as best he can? Well, he certainly allowed René Rast to get closer to Eduardo Mortara now. There is Maxime Martin going through. And Edo Mortara then and René Rast very, very close together here. On board with Lucas Auer. The Audi of Mike Rockefeller is but a distant glimpse through the windscreen. Loic Duval on the inside. Robert Wickens to the outside, but see, now that probably took a lap and a half for Robert Wickens to be able to do.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that costs you time.
Gary Paffett and Lucas Auer together. So as you said, Tom Blomqvist is the nominal leader of the race, but of course the real leader is Jamie Green. Some heated moments down there on the pit wall.
Audi.
And the cars scream past our commentary position as Loic Duval comes in, which means that the only driver that's not had the pit stop yet is Tom Blomqvist. We run the clock on the Loic Duval car then. A very good time, 6.6 seconds. So Blomqvist then the only one that has not been in. His tyres have been on the car for the longest of anyone that is out there. The Tom Blomqvist BMW. Once in, of course, that will return the lead of the race to Jamie Green.
Yeah, I don't think it will take too long for Tom Blomqvist to come into the box. Maybe this lap or next lap.
Rast still stuck behind Eduardo Mortara, not able to find the pace or opportunity to get past the Mercedes driver. Of course, had a very, very good qualifying. So there, René Rast, who is currently running P6, which is actually P5 when you account for the fact that Tom Blomqvist is going to have to come in, which will benefit everyone to the tune of one place, including Mattias Ekström, who will be therefore running in P10, which does mean a point, doesn't it? A solitary point.
Yeah, this is not ideal situation for Mattias Ekström, especially if, regarding René Rast, and if René Rast get past Mortara. And this is making the whole fight a little bit more interesting for tomorrow. For sure.
Good for us in terms of the drama. We love it.
So Jamie Green getting closer and closer to Tom Blomqvist, who will need still, as we said, he still needs to go into the pit lane. He's the only driver who hasn't pitted yet. And we see Mike Rockenfeller really close to Robert Wickens now. And we pass him on this Mercedes Arena. Robert Wickens holding on the outside. Now we'll have now the inside line, both drivers fighting for the 7th position. Now is the inside line for Rocky. Some rubber there, really good. So, moved on by Mike Rockenfeller.
Took a couple of corners to do so, didn't it?
Oh, the applause. And this magnificent parallel driving, side by side.
Yeah.
Through 3 corners.
So Mike Rockenfeller then in the number 99 car. Here is Jamie Green, who has Tom Blomqvist ahead of him. Blomqvist, the only one of those 18 drivers that has not yet pitted. Lucas Aert, Gary Paffett, Mattias Ekström, Nico Müller. So we continue to follow the Mattias Ekström car as Jamie Green goes through on the inside of Tom Blomqvist.
So then it's Jamie Green leading again the race.
Yes.
With 6.2 seconds ahead of Timo Glock. A little bit less, 5.6, sorry. 5.5. A little bit more than 5 seconds.
How it happened then, Parabolica.
Pretty easy on the brakes. Jamie Green has better tires, better braking performance than Tom Blomqvist. So another hard maneuver onto the braking point in hairpin. Corner number 4. 4 or 5, depends if you count the whole Parabolica as a corner or a straight.
Oh, yeah. So Jamie Green then breaks the timing beam now. And already has put 1.1 seconds on Tom Blomqvist, but critically 4.1 on Timo Glock.
Copy box. That means Tom is coming this lap.
And then the final 10.5 minutes, plus 1 lap of this DTM race. With all the pit stops done and dusted, whilst Tom Blomqvist, the BMW driver, has been in and taken his. So Mattias Ekström, P11 at the moment. Of course, that will become P10 when Tom Blomqvist comes in.
Exactly.
So Mattias Ekström perhaps not making the progress in the race that maybe we would have expected. I mean, it's great for us because it all plays into the hands of tomorrow, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I was expecting a little bit more recovery from Mattias, but somehow he's not finding the pace this weekend. He's not finding the rhythm. And as you're saying, he's playing in a lot of drama for tomorrow. And, I mean, we will see.
Forgive me, Bruno Spengler getting past Nico Müller, could see that being played out on the exit of the hairpin.
As I was saying, we've seen this year a lot of races where also the situation on Sunday has nothing to do with the picture you saw on Saturday. So that's why maybe we come tomorrow, it's a completely different situation. The only point in comparison the beginning of the season, we have not anymore the weight to do this balance of performance. So of course this is playing in the hands that everything stays a little bit more similar towards tomorrow, but anyway, I'm really sure we will be surprised in qualifying tomorrow again.
Right, Blomqvist has been in and is on his way out again.
We see René Rast fighting with Rockenfeller. So Mike Rockenfeller is chasing down the rookie. Yeah, we see, oh, look, both cars bottoming on the bumps. Really good on the brakes for Rain and Russ, a little bit too long. That gives Mike Rockefeller the inside line with Hold It on the outside. Both drivers side by side.
Now, of course, both of these drivers are in the championship chase. Mike Rockefeller is P4, Rennie Rast, of course, is P2, but reinforces what Dieter Gas was saying right at the beginning of the program when he talked to Brina, that he's going to, you know, he allows, insofar as he possibly can, he allows his drivers to race.
Yeah, I think Audi, I mean, they don't have all the security, but with 4 drivers into the top 4, as in top 5, you have a lot of chances to win, so they can allow themselves to give some freedom to the drivers to fight between them for the title of the DTM.
Well, next in the target sights of Mike Rockefeller is the Mercedes-Benz of Eduardo Mortara.
It's coming really quick. Really quick, the car of Mike Rockefeller. Look how fast he chased down Eduardo after passing René Rast.
You're right.
But Mike Rockefeller a little bit far down the farther down the classification on P4 with 134 points. Must be a really good result from them, and some bad luck from the other 2 teammates in Audi to...
DRS window open on Mike Rockefeller's car, which makes it a really rather easy overtake on Eduardo Mortara, who, though now, will try and get back underneath the Mike Rockefeller car.
When we see now the championship situation, as I was saying, Rockefeller is still a little bit too far away to be able to have a real possible chance of winning the championship.
What it does do, it narrows the points between P1 and P2 to 10.
Yeah, it's everything every time, and of course closer.
Points awarded in the top 3 places in qualifying as well. Bear that in mind.
Yeah, of course.
P3 for P1, 2 for 2, and 1 point for P3.
It's just Jamie Green who is getting 1 point due to his 3rd position on the grid.
Up the inside went Mike Rockefeller then. Clean overtake, and no panel rubbing between either 2 of them. See how those cars really bounce on this tarmac heading up towards the hairpin. The front of the car is remarkably bouncy. So there is Mike Rockefeller now. Next is Maxime Martin potentially. So championship prediction. If it stays this way, 173 points. Mattias Ekström 163. Jamie Green. Rennie Rast drops from P2 to P3 on 159 points. Then Mike Rockefeller, Timo Glock, and Lucas Auer.
The good thing is Jamie Green is so close to Mattias Ekström, and René Rast also just 4 points behind Jamie Green. So this will make all tomorrow even more open for all the top 3 to be able to fight for that championship.
You're right, as always.
So any of them, a single mistake can cost you a championship tomorrow. So this will be full of drama.
Yeah. So Maxime Martin, Mike Rockefeller, the margin between the 3 of them, between the 2 of them over the last 3 laps that you can see on screen. Green then, who is, this is amazing that Jamie Green has got a 5-second advantage on Timo Glock last time around. That was the gap between the 2 of them. It's actually come down by 4 tenths to 4.6 now. Even so, Jamie Green leading with 4 minutes plus 1 lap of the race to go. And here's Mike Rockefeller now, right on the back of Maxime Martin. Martin has only got 1 lap of DRS usage left. Rocky has got loads. He could use up to 9. There won't be that many laps left in the race, that's for sure, because there's only 3.5 minutes left on the clock. And here comes Mike Rockefeller now on the inside of Maxime Martin, bouncing like a good one, heading up towards the hairpin now. Brakes. Maxime Martin will try and come underneath Mike Rockefeller for the switchback, but he's not able to do so. So Mike Rockefeller puts himself into P3. It's Green, Glock, and Rocky now. So there is Mike Rockenfeller.
So Ernst Moser looking happy at the progress of his driver, Mike Rockenfeller. Mattias fighting now with Bruno Spengler. No, excuse me, Bruno Spengler got past Mattias Ekström.
He did, and well, that's crucial because what's happened is
he lost the point.
He's lost the point, hasn't he?
He lost the point he had in the pocket, so now it's Mattias Ekström again out of the points.
Both of them using DRS then as they were running into the next turn. But Bruno Spengler wrestles away that point and that place from Mattias Ekström.
The good thing is Mattias Ekström, just behind him is Nico Müller, which is making a little bit of a bodyguard.
Yeah, he's going to act as
that is not denying probably Marco Wittmann to come through.
But actually, whether Ekström finishes P11 or P17 is almost academic, isn't it? He's not going to be in the points, and there you can see the current championship prediction. Mattias Ekström will be on 172, Jamie Green on 163, René Rast on 159. So Jamie Green is doing a brilliant job. He's 4.4 seconds to the good over Timo Glock with just under 2 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. And this is really bringing Jamie Green back into that championship fight big time.
Exactly, so like you were saying, now it's really less difference, and tomorrow a result like this will play on the hands of Jamie Green and he could become champion. So full of drama for tomorrow, as we were saying before, full excitement. With a very finish like this, we have 1 minute and a half, so it looks like it will do so. When we see René Rast fighting with Robert Wickens, Robert Wickens putting some pressure in the Audi driver, not managing to get past him.
Getting closer, getting closer. So Green then, it was 4.4 seconds on Timo Glock he had a last time around, and it remains the same. So he's comfortable in that position at the moment.
Papper, so fastest lap of the race now for Mike Rockenfeller, which is lapping 1.1 second faster than Timo Glock. So take care, Timo Glock, because you are 1.6 seconds behind you. It's a car which is like a rocket now. Look at this, 1 minute 32.8 for Rockenfeller in the last lap and 1 minute 33.9 for Timo Glock. So take care. The BMW should really take care. He has 38 seconds plus 1 lap. Look at that braking point.
Rocky could do him, couldn't he?
This will an amazing finish to see Rocky trying to fight. And for sure amazing for Audi, 1-2, if this happens.
Oh, and there we were saying that Robert Wickens and René Rast are going to be fighting because Robert Wickens was closing in, and they're side by side now. And well, racing room is left by Robert Wickens to René Rast, and he runs wide now. And René Rast can breathe a sigh of relief. The clock counts down to 0. So 1 lap. When the Jamie Green car crosses the timing line, it'll be 1 lap left.
Let's see visually now when the cars pass over our commentary booth, the difference between Mike Rockenfeller is just 1 car length behind Timo Glock.
So Timo Glock is going to be very vulnerable now on this, the last lap. This is the fight for P2.
We need to see how many DRS still is on the pocket of 8. So definitely plenty of DRS for Mike Rockenfeller. Look how close it is. So let's see now into the hairpin.
But Glock has got plenty as well, and he can use it to... No, he can't, because he's not within a second of anyone ahead of him. So he's going to be prey to Mike Rockenfeller. This is for P2 in the race. Glock then to the inside, protects the inside line. Mike Rockenfeller to the outside now. He's going to try and get underneath the BMW. But Timo Glock is a wily driver. He knows where to put the car, but Mike Rockenfeller goes ahead now. Wow. This is for P2. We're on board with Lucas Auer. And on board now with Timo Glock, who now has the Audi of Mike Rockenfeller ahead of him. And look at the celebrations and jubilations down there in the Audi garage. You said that was coming.
Yeah, it was so good, especially because he made the move on the outside of the hairpin.
Yes.
On the outside, having a much better acceleration when we see Jamie Green approach the 2 last corners. 2 corners for the British driver.
Is changing the shape, potentially, of the championship for tomorrow as Jamie Green wins race 1 at Hockenheim. P2 goes to Mike Rockenfeller. P3, Timo Glock. So double bubble for Audi.
P2, very good race. Very, very, very good race.
And BMW taking P3 and P4.
Thank you. So Green win on the front.
Jamie sounding so relaxed in the car.
Well, this was perfect. So true.
Real mix of team radios there. Green, Rockenfeller, Glock, Martin, Mortara, Rast, Wickens, Auer, Paffett, and Bruno Spengler rounding out the top 10, which means Mattias Ekström, P11, no points.
No points, so this is making everything more and more drama, adding more and more drama for tomorrow, for the second race. So I can't wait, Dave, to be here again in 24 hours and see what's happening.
Well, what we can say is that the Drivers' Championship is going to go the way of Audi, but we don't know who.
And this is really good.
Jamie Green then winner here at Hockenheim. Dieter Gas must be jumping for joy, Verena.
Not yet. I think he's still a bit in shock. Congratulations, that's for sure. Before the race, I asked you which of the 4 is going to win the championship. You said you don't care. Fact is, now we can say that one of the Audis has already won the championship. Congratulations. Are you in shock?
Yeah, well, it's fantastic. I'm so happy, really. We were fighting for that so long, and now we win the Drivers' Championship. But tomorrow, I think we will still see a very exciting race. The guys will all have the possibility to go for it, so I'm looking forward to that.
I bet. Well, congratulations, Dieter Gas. Thank you very much. Back to you.
Thanks, Verena, very much. So, extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary turnaround.
Unbelievable. So true. I mean, it's of course a championship if Audi, our Drivers' Championship goes for Audi, but we don't know who, and this makes it so interesting and so amazing for tomorrow. And every one of them can win the race. They have such a blistering pace. Now we see the results of the race. So top 10, Jamie Green, followed by Mike Rockenfeller, Timo Glock, Massi Martin. First, Mercedes we find on P5 with Eduardo Mortara, P6, René Rast, 7 Weekends, then Lucas Auer, Gary Paffen, and Bruno Spengler closing top 10, and then Mattias Ekström, P11, just 1 position out of the top 10 without a single point. And this makes all this way more exciting than it already is.
Extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary. Of course, we love it to go to the final race, of course we do, and for it to be a real nail-biter going into the final race of the 2017 season. And truthfully, that's exactly what we're going to have. Because, you know, whether you're Jamie Green, whether you're René Rast, whether you're Mattias Ekström, you know, at the end of the day, you're going to give it everything you possibly can. But the pace Mike Rockenfeller had at the end of the race, Alex, it was extraordinary.
It was like a rocket. He was coming all the way through the grid, passing car by car, lap by lap, and not even needed 2-3 attempts. Just was almost 1 attempt and job done. So really good pace by the 99 car of Mike Rockenfeller. When we see now Jamie Green, the man of the race, parking his car, coming to stop. When we see now, that's the important thing. Drivers' Championship, Mattias Ekström 172, Jamie Green P2 163, just 9 points behind, and René Rast 4 points behind Jamie Green.
And Mike Rockenfeller there.
13 points behind.
This is brilliant.
This is really good. So still the chance that the rookie wins the DTM on his first season ever.
It's still possible. It is still possible.
That will be such a big party in Audi. So we see Timo Glock saying, I put my cap down. And Jamie Green jumping in the car.
Yes.
Full of joy. Remember last race here, Hockenheim 2 at the beginning of the season was also the race winner. So
can I just put a fly in the ointment? you and I both know, having talked about DTM all season long and having thoroughly enjoyed this season, what has happened today doesn't give us the template for tomorrow.
Anything, it can be totally changed. I mean, we're looking for a similar track conditions, warm day, blue skies, not a cloud, so we are not expecting anything crazy like water, but it can totally change. It can be another drivers, another manufacturer fighting for the lead, fighting for the race. So, and this is everything so good, and this is what makes DTM so special and so exciting.
Absolutely. And of course, all cars finished, so no retirements whatsoever. A very clean and tidy race, to be fair, wasn't it?
Also a really good race from Timo Glock. What a shame he could not make it from pole to win. But anyway, third position, excuse me, it's a good result when we see now the slow-mo of Jamie Green coming into the start-finish line with the checker flag.
Great race from Jamie Green, who finished, even though Mike Rockenfeller was really chasing, he did finish 3.9. Now, just a couple of laps before the end, it was 5 seconds. That's how quick Rocky was.
Yeah, it would have been good to see what would have happened is if we would have 3 or 4 more laps in the race.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. So enjoyable, as DTM has been all season long, in truth.
Happy man, Jamie Green.
Unfolding and continues to unfold right until the very last race of the season.
For sure, and I can't wait to be here tomorrow.
Yeah, it's
and moderate that race.
24 hours to wait, isn't it?
It's a long wait now. It will be a fast wait, but
it's going to be tricky, isn't it? Actually, because we just can't wait to.
I will not be able to sleep tonight. Just thinking on the race. Now, I mean, probably these 3 guys will not be able to sleep tonight. Just thinking on the race, like every single mistake, just a small mistake. Even the qualifying can be so important because we have 3 points.
3 points.
3 to 1 point. So.
Right, Verena is with Timo Glock now.
Timo, it was a pretty tough race, but congratulations from pole to 3rd place. But it was a very tough race, so congratulations to the 3rd place. We just heard that Jamie Green is going to get 10 points penalty, 10 places behind tomorrow for the incident we saw with you. What do you think about that?
I mean, I don't know. I need to see it from the outside. I mean, you know, we kept... we was proper racing side by side, and I tried to go with him on the outside because he needed to leave me space, and he couldn't. And yeah, whatever the stewards decided, I mean, okay. But I need to look into it from the outside, how it looked from the outside. But you know, I tried my best. I didn't give up. I had a blistering reaction time on my start, and was a perfect day.
All right. Well, congratulations, and off you go onto the podium. Thank you very much, Timo Glock. Back to you.
Thanks very much, Verena. So that's going to change the face of things for tomorrow, potentially. Jamie Green, then, up on the top step of the podium. Timo Glock on his way to the podium right now. Mike Rockenfeller already on step 2. So... don't know.
It's strange we didn't have any message on our time screen.
No.
About what Verena was saying. So we hear now the national anthem.
So national anthem plays out then for Jamie Green. So what we were hearing then from Verena was suggesting that Jamie Green is going to get a 10-place grid drop tomorrow. So wherever he qualifies, as Carl Wendlinger, former Formula 1 and DTM star, makes the trophy presentation to Jamie Green. What a trophy that is. So wherever Jamie qualifies tomorrow, even if he puts it on pole position, he will actually be starting from P10 on the grid. Lena Gerk, then the model and TV presenter, making the team presentation. So, can we buy any more drama into this? Fabian Hambouchen then, the Olympic champion and sportsman of the year, making the trophy presentation to Mike Rockenfeller. I mean, that's extraordinary. I mean, after saying that, we've got no confirmation of that yet.
No, we have no confirmation. We will keep, when we see Fabian Reise giving the trophy to the third classified Timo Glock, but as you say, we will keep our eyes on the media center, watching for all kind of notification. So a group picture for the top 3 of the race.
Well,
and it should lead to our common champagne shower.
If that does play out in that way.
So I think our grid girls, yeah, getting a little bit wet.
Jamie.
From Timo Glock. It's anywhere warm, so.
Okay.
So champagne shower, doesn't matter. Any kind of shower is welcome.
That makes it acceptable. Okay. Wow.
So, as you were saying, it's even more drama for tomorrow.
Absolutely. Really adds into it, doesn't it? So there, a very happy Jamie Green. I wonder if he's aware of that yet. Well, we will see, but what we do know is that the face of things for tomorrow then may be somewhat different to what we expected. I mean, we already said that, of course, we can look at the results today, but it doesn't give us an indicator for tomorrow. Mike Rockenfeller, what a race he had towards the end of the race, especially Verena.
What a race indeed. Mike Rockenfeller, our nerves are just, pooh. I mean, you kept your calm, and it was really spectacular race coming from P7 to P2. You've got to be absolutely proud of that.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice. I mean, at the end, you know, we choose the right strategy. I made the call to stay out. We know the team wanted to call me in, which would have been fine probably as well. But I felt good, so we always said if I have the feeling to stay out, I can do so, and I did it today. At the end, it was still a tough fight, you know, to make up all the positions, but it was good fun. I enjoyed it, and yeah, P2 is not bad at all.
Absolutely, especially looking at tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow everything's going to be decided.
Yeah, I mean, tomorrow is a new day. We try hard. It's still open, and I give it all, and we see where we end up in the championship.
You guys are always so cool. So congratulations. Looking forward to tomorrow. Thank you very much, Mike Rockenfeller. I'm going to try to grab Jamie in just a second. Back to you.
Thanks, Verena. Good luck with getting hold of Jamie, and best of luck if you're going to be breaking that news to him. But here's super slow-mo's the top 3 then. For BMW, taking P3 in race 1, Timo Glock. It was a remarkable charge right at the end of the race then for Mike Rockenfeller, who had unbelievable pace. He took it to
blistering.
P2.
He was like a rocket coming from behind, and no doubting at all making his overtaking maneuvers, passing Timo Glock and previously Maxime Martin. Now we see the slow-mo of Jamie Green, our race winner today. Your British man, your British colleague.
What a star you are, Jamie Green.
You must be proud today, Dave.
P1, Jamie Green. What can he deliver tomorrow?
Yeah, and it's just like you were saying with this. So we have Verena there with Jamie Green. Let's hear from our race winner and if he knows about his 10 drop positions.
Well, first of all, let me congratulate you to a victory. That was a spectacular race. It really was. So congratulations to that. You've got to be mighty proud about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always proud when I win, especially at this level. DTM is so hard to win, and in this championship is so difficult. so close, and all the drivers on the grid are talented, and all the cars are very evenly matched. So to win here is a real big achievement. So everyone is precious and valued. But when you have to overtake the opposition, when it's someone from another manufacturer, then it's a proper race, a proper fight. And when you come out on top, it's something you can be really happy with. So it was a good race, and I'm happy to get the win.
You really were on fire, that's for sure. But I do have to ask one question. Tomorrow in the qualifying, wherever you end up, you're going to get a +10, and Eki is going to get a +5. That's what the investigation in the end showed. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think the warnings are a little bit too harsh. If you get so many warnings, I can't remember if it's 3 or 5, then you get a grid penalty. I think I have a 5-place grid penalty, but I was told in German, so I maybe misunderstood.
I think you misunderstood. I don't want to ruin your day.
Okay, well, normally it's 5 places if you have too many warnings. So, but anyway, it was for forcing Timo off the track, I guess. But in that situation, I did actually let him back in front, so I didn't gain anything. So I think they're sometimes a bit too harsh with those, but I can't change that.
Plus tomorrow is a new day, and I'm sure as much as you were on fire today, you're going to be even more on fire tomorrow.
Yeah, that's going to be even more of a challenge, won't it? So I'll see what I can do.
Thank you so much, Jamie. And back to you.
Thank you, Verena, very much. Well, if that is the case, that Mattias is going to get 5-place grid drop, and Jamie Green is going to get grid drop as well, it's still advantage potentially
for Reiner Rast,
who is going to be untouched by Green. Oh.
So yeah, but it's difficult. I mean, Jamie Green is right. He let Timo Glock rejoin the racetrack, and so we will see maybe also later if there is some because we have no official message. I'm sure there will be also some.
Well, there's got to be an official notification.
Yeah, notification for sure, but there will be also some discussions on the office with the sport commissar. So we'll see now again the replay.
Now, Glock is sideways. He's lost some momentum, hasn't he? So, Jamie does squeeze him. Glock goes flying a bit, but you can see that Jamie, theoretically, it looks like he lifts a little to allow Timo back out ahead. 6 of one, half a dozen the other. I would never want to be a race steward. Racing Room was left up until this point. There's just a couple of little touches there, aren't there? And that does send Timo out. But Timo is able to keep his foot in, Alex.
From a driver perspective, I don't see really forcing. I don't see really Jamie Green forcing Timo Glock out of the racetrack. I mean, you are carrying his speed. I know this corner. And like I said, he's rejoining. He's letting rejoin Glock in front. That's why I think it's not so. It's a bit right. Maybe it's a little bit harsh. But let's see if there is some maybe talks afterwards in the office with the sport officers. But anyway, it's like it's like 10 drops penalty. The rules are the same for everyone. So this is playing more drama for tomorrow and more excitement for us.
We're looking forward to it. Here's Verena then to wrap.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, how much drama can we handle in one race and in one season? It certainly has been very, very, very exciting. And fact is that tomorrow is going to be decided which of the 4 Audis are actually going to clinch the title. It's going to be even more exciting, so you don't want to miss it. Thank you for watching and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow for the Grande Finale. See you tomorrow. Here are the highlights. Enjoy.